Hello Idle Hero fans, thanks for tuning in today, as we're going to be doing a video looking at the newest hero, Valkyrie. Now, she only came out yesterday, but you can get a pretty good insight of what she's supposed to be doing just by looking at her abilities and her stats, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to see if we can figure out what she's going to be good at. And the first thing you'll notice is that she actually has 500,000 HP, which is pretty high, especially for a ranger. She's going to be in the top half of units that have decent HP for the current meta, which will make her tough, as well as it'll actually allow her to kind of act as a tank, which we're going to go into a little bit more later, because if you look at her abilities, she kind of benefits from a frontline, or at least as a unit that is hit quite a bit. Her second thing you're going to notice is her attack, which is about 25,000. Again, that's not particularly high, but it's not bad, especially with this second passive that increases her attack by 25%. And it's kind of becoming more and more common that heroes are having abilities like this, so while this is a good passive, it's not particularly unique anymore, but her HP growth is going to be very good with this, her attack growth is going to be good with this, and crit chance just having a flat 30 is always nice. Her armor is 1554, pretty standard, and her speed is 1147, which is a little slow, unfortunately, but again, I think they're trying to find ways to make heroes that don't rely on speed, because that's currently kind of what the meta was sitting on for a very long time, where just basically you have fast crowd control or fast damage units that just wipe the opponent's team before they can respond, so fastest team wins essentially, whereas I think they're trying to add new mechanics that kind of work around that. So one funny thing as well, when you click on her, she does this little uppercut punch, and one of her spears seems to just fizzle out of existence. They've been having some weird things going on with their animations recently. As I noted last time when I made a Valkyrie video, her cape kind of like becomes on the first layer, and it kind of goes over other things in the character, like the weapon and her like chin and stuff like that. So it's strange that they've been having a lot of weird animation errors. So one of her swords just completely disappears, and the weapons themselves are a little strange. She's dual wielding twin blades, which just seems a bit excessive, but especially if she only uses one of them anyway, and then doesn't even hit with it, instead uses a punch. Quite interesting. But anyway, let's move on to her actual abilities. Her first ability is 3 random enemies take 162% damage and transfer 12% of their attack for 3 rounds. Enemy with the highest health also takes 20% of self total health burning damage for 2 rounds, which is kind of weird, but basically what we're looking at is a pretty good damage spell. Not amazing because it only hits 3, but she does steal attack. Like 12% attack from 3 different people is quite a lot. She's going to be getting a sizable boost from this, especially if she hits certain units that are made for attacking. If she doesn't hit support class, or if she doesn't hit something that's meant to be like an Emily or something like that, she's going to do very well on the second rotation, assuming of course that she can even get there, because it's getting harder and harder for heroes to survive past the second round and third round. But with other heroes to support her, like Valkyrie for example, this could be a hero that goes on to round 4 and round 5 with an incredible amount of power. The 20% of self total health, that's a weird way to word it, but the way it essentially works is that they're going to take 20% of Valkyrie's health as damage, which is why it's good that she has such a high number, as 500,000 for a ranger is very good. And it also kind of motivates you to build her with a lot of health in mind, as well as attack, because obviously attack does good damage, but most of her abilities also proc this self-health thing. We already looked at her first passive, so we're going to go right on to the second one now. And that is, it makes her basic attacks hit 3 enemies as well for 95% damage, and it decreases their attack by 9% for 2 rounds, and then it takes 6% of her health as burning damage for 3 rounds. So again, using extra health damage, which is great. It's kind of unique to see a percent-based damage in this game. You don't really see it a lot, so it's nice to see they're trying out different things. And of course the decreased attack is also very good. Basic attack of hers decreasing 3 units by 9% is 9% individually is not amazing, but having that applied to 3 different heroes is very good. Again, using the 6% is strong, because I think that's, even though it's only 6%, that's going to add up pretty fast over 3 rounds, as well as her ability also doing percent damage. So we're going to see some interesting combos with this, where it doesn't really matter how strong your opponents are, because Valkyrie is going to have a percent base damage, and we're going to see that kind of, I think, play a different role here, because in many other games, percent damage is often overpowered. So when you see them bringing the mechanic into this game, it's going to be curious to see how people adapt to it and how it's integrated. And her last ability, which has been edited, thank God, because I'll put a picture on the screen and I'll show you what it used to be. They fixed the wording, thankfully, so I'll put it here for just a second.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
So yeah, they changed the wording, thank God. And what it does now is that whenever affected by crowd control effects, she heals for 200% of her health for 2 rounds, and then 3 random enemies take 3% of her health as damage for burning damage over 3 rounds. Now, that is very good again, because this is where I mean that she looks like she could be used as a tank, or even if she isn't used specifically as a tank, just because she is getting hit by either abilities, she's going to be doing counter-strike damage in this sense. And now, crowd control is a weird thing to kind of counter-attack, but this is very unique, and this is one of the few things that they're using to kind of counter the current meta, where a lot of heroes do crowd control and they do it very quickly. Now, unfortunately, she still is going to be crowd controlled, so she can't use her abilities and attack, but she will heal through it, and she will do damage, even though it's only a small amount, the 3% of self-health total damage, or whatever, however you want to say that. It still is going to be damage that is applied while she's crowd controlled, and she's going to be a lot harder to kill while she's crowd controlled. Now, do I think this will kind of fix the current meta or change it in any way? Not so much, because most heroes are one-shotting other heroes right now. So if you're looking at like as models, Mims, and like Faith Blades, these heroes are generally not whittling down heroes so that they can heal up over time, and this is kind of the same problem Belrain has, except Belrain's heal is such an extreme example where unless you get one shot, you're going to heal through it. With this character, I don't think that's going to be enough, especially since there's kind of a mishmash of what she's looking to do. You want to take a lot of HP in order to maximize her durability so she can last longer with these kinds of abilities, as well as so she can do more damage with her percent damage. But at the same time, you also want to max attack, because if you don't, you're not going to be getting a lot of these heals off, or the heals that you do get off, they're not going to be very effective, and then she's just not going to do a ton of damage because she's dead anyway. So this is a very curious character, and we're going to have to see moving forward. I do like that they are trying new stuff, but excuse me, I don't know if it's actually going to be enough in this case to actually like break through and change the meta. She might fit in, because green heroes or forest heroes are kind of in a weird spot right now. Mostly the game is dominated by light and dark teams, so I don't know if she would jump a spot ahead of something like, for rainbow teams, you'd have to pass as like Demon Hunter, and I don't know if she's going to do that, but we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of her abilities and how she works. Do you guys like these new mechanics, or do you think that this is just kind of a false attempt to try and bring something in that appears new, but really is just, it's not really useful, and they're just kind of pushing people to buy heroes because you don't really know what they do or how they're going to work out, and in the end it doesn't matter because the speed and crowd control and damage from heroes like Faithblade is just too much. But anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.